Hey guys, I'm Randy Unger, and this is another edition of Unger the Radar. And this is where we talk all things film. I want to welcome everyone at home watching or on your devices, wherever you may be. I want to just start things off. We're going to be interviewing the director of the 2018 Philip K. Dick Science Fiction Film Festival, Mr. Dan Abella. Hello, how are you?
Thanks, Randy, for having me here.
Yeah. So how's everything going with the festival?
Great. You know, there's a lot. We got less than 2 weeks to go.
Good.
And,
okay.
There's a lot of new preparations. Very excited.
Yeah. Tell everyone about the festival. What's to be expected?
Well, the festival runs for 3 days. It's taking place at 2 venues. One at Village East Cinema, which is on 12th and 2nd Avenue in New York City.
Okay.
And the second at the Museum of the Moving Image.
Oh, yes.
Which is it's very sci-fi-ish.
Yeah,
place.
It's a great location.
Yeah.
The lobby looks like the set of Men in Black.
Well, absolutely.
They renovated it in the past few years.
Yeah.
So it looks great now. So there's going to be screenings and events, Q&As at Cinema Village East and the museum.
Right.
Okay.
There'll be Q&As. At the museum, we'll have 2 features and follow with Q&A with directors and some of the actors.
Okay.
And at the Village East Cinema, we're going to have 14 blocks of shorts and features.
Okay, wow.
Pretty much running consecutively from Friday at 7 p.m. all the way to Sunday 8 p.m.
So how many films in total?
See, I think we have about 70.
Wow.
70 shorts and features. We have a large number of features this year. Most of the time we focus on shorts, but this year we have some really amazing features.
Nice. What are some of the big films standing out this year?
Well, first one is Alterscape. That's
Michael Ironside's in that one.
Exactly. Michael Ironside, Charles Baker.
Nice.
It's great.
Michael Ironside, of course, was in Total Recall as the henchman. And also, his head exploded in Scanners.
Right.
For those of you, who like 80s sci-fi cinema.
And he's also was in Total Recall and V. I believe he was in V.
Was he in V?
He might have been.
Okay.
So he's got a long history.
Oh yeah, and he's going strong. He's
very strong.
He's not quitting anytime soon. It seems.
That's right. I thought Michael Caine had a good track record, but you take a look at his IMDb page. This man is constantly working.
Nice. I understand Tom Sizemore is also going to be there.
Yes, he's actually appearing for another feature we're showing on Saturday. And the name of the feature is called Black Wake.
Okay.
It has Tom Sizemore, Chuck Zito, Vincent Pastore,
Sopranos, right?
Johnny Bouchamp from Penny Dreadful. Yeah.
Oh, good cast.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this.
So what was it like? Were you very instrumental in picking these movies? Like, what was that process like?
Well, we have basically, when we have a film such as Alterscape that comes in, immediately comes to my desk.
Okay.
Because we realize that time is of the essence. A film with Michael Ironside will premiere. Other festivals will bid for that. Okay. So what I'll usually do is, in that instance, I'll take a quick look at the film, and then I'll run it through the other programmers we have. Okay. And we all vote yes, then we move forward.
Pretty simple.
Regarding the shorts, it's a different process. Here, it's from bottom up. Okay. We start out. We generally receive anywhere. It's hard to say, from year to close to 1,000 shorts.
Wow.
So we have a team of programmers who take a look and they rate the short based upon originality, cinematography, creativity, production design, plot, premise, and so forth. You have to give it a 1 to 10.
Right.
And then they choose the ones that are, either pass recommend, trophy. And then based upon that, then they give it to me.
What does trophy mean? Like that?
Trophy means absolutely must have it. Is a winner.
Nice.
Although I always take a look at every single short and feature that comes through my festival.
And how are they looking this year? How's the collection?
Oh, the collection is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
It's every year there's a different theme.
Okay.
So in the last few years, we had a lot of features and documentaries dealing with time travel, ETs, UFOs. This year, the focus has been more on inner spaces, psychedelic explorations.
Kind of like 2000.
Yes, more like 2001.
Nice, nice.
Exactly. So it's very refreshing.
Okay. To
see that and also how technology is impacting our whole world.
Okay.
So the sci-fi that we have at this year's festival is actually hits closer to home.
Right. It's not just about entertainment.
It's not just entertainment. Right. Yes. It's and it's not just about spaceships going into some, but really dealing with how we're already living in a sci-fi universe.
Okay. Which is ever growing, apparently.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Wow, that's heavy.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, what are some of your favorite science fiction films? What have inspired you?
Well, I would say the top 5, right?
Yeah.
In terms of the classic sci-fi, we have Invasion of Body Snatchers.
The original.
Yes. That was awesome. The Day the Earth Stood Still.
Oh, yeah.
The Fly.
Klaatu Barada Nikto, right?
Yes, that's correct. The Fly with Vincent Price.
Okay. I actually like the remake and the sequel. Actually.
The remake wasn't bad.
Yeah. It was a little disgusting, but...
Yeah. Those in terms of classic, and now 2001.
Okay, yeah, I love that movie.
Those are in terms of more recent films. I would say The Matrix is a big,
nice,
big plus. Knowing, we were talking about this film.
Nicolas Cage,
kind of flew under the radar
a
few years back, but I would recommend people go and check it out.
Interesting.
And I'm also a big fan of quote unquote cerebral sci-fi films.
Okay.
These, of course, include 2001, Primer, Ex Machina.
Oh, yeah. I've heard great things. I haven't actually seen it yet, but that's
great.
Yeah. So, why Philip K. Dick? Why has his name been chosen as the film festival?
Well, I think sometimes the name chooses you. I mean, I always, as I was growing up, that name's always resonated at some level. Okay. And one occasion I came across a quote from the late Ursula K. Le Guin, saying that Philip K. Dick was our own homegrown Borges. Now, Borges was an Argentinian writer. He was one of the fathers of a school called magical realism, which basically explores that kind of twilight zone between the unreal, the sci-fi, and the real.
Okay. And
when she mentioned that Philip K. Dick is our own homegrown Borges, I was very intrigued. I decided to read everything about him, go from the latest work backwards. So I started reading Valis, Valis, and I was hooked because here I came across a writer who not only explored themes of science fiction, but also philosophical themes and psychological themes. So it's sort of a really an unusual combination of structures. Philip K. Dick, more than any other sci-fi writer, really has a finger on the pulse of what's happening to us. He and a lot of his writings talk about average Joes, people who are having a hard time dealing with this technology universe. And he mentions how it's essential to retain human dignity, what it means to be human. That's one of the characteristics, is the ability to be empathic. So he understood that technology is a double-edged sword. It can help us, but also can crush us.
Okay.
So he provided alternatives to dealing with that issue. So more than any other writer, I think people really realize that he understands the kind of challenges that we're facing. So what are the themes that run through his work? What does it mean to be human? What is the nature of reality? Who are we? Where are we going?
I think Blade Runner is a prime example.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And in Blade Runner, especially in the original novella, androids, the robots are actually more human than the humans.
That's right.
And in a weird way, that's what's happening to us today. You see, as more and more people are hooked to the smartphones, there is an air of depersonalization that's kind of sweeping over them.
Right.
And while our intelligent machines are becoming more and more friendly.
Right. The cell phone, I'm guilty of this. I'm sure everyone is. It's almost become a part of your body. It's like kind of scary. Yeah. So.
And on that note, we actually have a documentary called "Cyborgs Among Us," which it explores the seduction of transhumanism.
Transhumanism.
Yeah, transhumanism is essential. It's a field that unites man with machine.
Okay.
And two or three of the main people explored in this documentary have already cyborgs. One of them looks like my favorite Martian. He's got this antenna coming out from the back of his head. He got it because he was colorblind.
Okay.
And he realized that, and then he got a special treatment that allowed him to see not only colors but infrared colors. He loves it. He walks around and he sees.
So like Predator, like that view.
Exactly. Yeah. Turn it on and off. So
wow.
There's definitely a seduction going on. I mean, there is an interest and as I said, technology can be very useful, but we also have to retain the wisdom, knowing when to use it, when not to.
Right.
And understand that all technology is programmed by someone, something, whether Facebook or Twitter. We want to go for those dopamine hits,
Yeah.
There is a reason why people are hooked on that.
It sort of also reminds me of, I don't know if you ever seen the animated film WALL-E?
Yeah.
Towards the end, everyone's like heavy set. They're in these chairs floating around, and they're just relying on just watching media, watching movies, TV from their little chairs. Like we are, we depend on technology.
Oh, absolutely.
It's scary. But it's true.
Technology is really a reflection of what's going on internally inside of us. So we just could have projected outside.
Yeah.
So when we, for instance, glasses. When glasses were originally developed, they were developed to correct our own vision.
Yeah.
The idea was not to just get another pair 3 or 5 years from now. It became a profit-based industry. So it can be used to correct our own issues, but a lot of people rely too much on it.
Right.
For instance, in the middle of Manhattan, you see what people walk around with Google Maps and trying to figure out where they are. All you have to look is where you want to go. Manhattan is a very easy place to navigate,
right?
But yet they rely on Google Maps,
right.
And so Philip talked about that. Talked about the pluses and the minuses of that. Main thing is that we all have powers and skills and abilities that we are ignoring by focusing too much on technology. I'll give you a perfect example. There's a West African tribe called the Dogons, and they in their chronicles they talk about a binary star system, the Sirius binary star system. It's only maybe 50 years ago that we were able to discover that there's indeed a binary star revolving around Sirius, so we have access to these powers, and that's what. By the way, that's what we do on the festival. Our festival is not just about science fiction; it's about exploring the zone between science fiction, science, and future technologies. Right. So this year, for instance, we talk about. We have a documentary called "The Scientist and the Shaman." It explores the inner worlds. It also, a couple of years ago, we had some panels on remote viewing, the famous Army remote viewing experiments. So the whole idea is that we do have these powers, and we shouldn't ignore them.
And so this festival is trying to educate people in terms of these issues and these topics.
It's educate, entertain.
Right.
I regard it as, I like to see it as a festival, technology with a soul. So we can go ahead and use technology, but let's not forget that we have a wisdom that we need to the old ones are telling us about we need to implement, especially as we have access to more and more powerful technology.
Now, what do you hope audiences take away from the festival?
Okay, so this festival will offer a large spectrum of emotions. Some people will weep, others will cry, others will be moved deeply, others will be exhilarated. So I'm hoping that some films, some shorts touch people deeply at some level. The idea is our films are designed to challenge, not entertainment, and to challenge, make us think. It's not just about something that we just see once and forget, but at the end of the evening you can think, and maybe it could be the subject of a conversation you have with someone you watched. And those are really the films that stay with you.
Yeah.
Say 2001, with The Matrix, as it become essentially a cradle of a whole industry. So I'm hoping that our festival provides a kind of an example of what really good sci-fi is all about.
Nice. And I know there's also similar festivals in Europe, science fiction film
festivals. We do, actually. We have every year we hold a festival in Germany.
Nice.
In Cologne, Germany. It's very small, and we all have one in Lille, France.
Okay.
And recently we've been doing Poland.
Okay.
And they love it. I notice that wherever we do our festivals, people love Philip K. Dick.
Yeah.
And he's known all over the world, and people are just waking up. 20 years ago, people said, well, who is Philip K. Dick, right? But now we got shows like Electric Dreams, Man in the High Castle.
Right.
People's always they're connecting the dots. He's the writer. He's the one who wrote Blade Runner.
It's interesting. Yeah, he passed away when Blade Runner was released.
1982.
Yeah.
He saw the rough cut of Blade Runner. Never got to see the fully edited, but he thought that this was going to change Hollywood. This was going to have a huge impact. Yeah. He was very happy with the film. Unfortunately, Philip K. Dick was not a writer who did very well economically during his life. He wrote over 40 novels and over 120 shorts. Wow. That was at that time when sci-fi was not really regarded as in a high esteem. But since then, I think people have realized that the value and the contribution he's made, not just to sci-fi, but to literature and to philosophy and to
It's great, and it's great that you picked his name for the festival.
Yeah, I mean, we picked it 6 years ago, and at that time we weren't aware that we're going to have all these different shows on television and so on. It's great. It's just, it keeps the ball rolling.
Now, is this festival geared towards families, or is it more adult, or?
We have both, actually. In fact, the ones that are, every block has a specific designation. Some blocks are very family-based, like the Sunday morning we have an animation and fantasy block. And then we got blocks that are more adult-based, very jarring, irreverent, challenging. Those tend to be closer to the midnight hour. So we have a full spectrum. Overall, they're pretty open, pretty friendly to all ages and groups.
And I love the fact that you combine entertainment with education.
Right.
How important is education, the next generation, kids, to science fiction?
Well, I think it's very important. I think science fiction, I like to think of it as the science of the future. Remember the old Dick Tracy watches, and now look at today. We got the iPhone and you have the iWatch, and
it's a reality now.
Oh, the universal translator. Well, we don't have quite there, but you can go around Google Translate.
Siri's pretty much that.
Yeah. So it's happening.
Yeah.
People gotta stop thinking that sci-fi is not the future. It's already happening.
Right.
We're living to better understand what's happening, the craziness of the world we live in. Think about it, of living in a Philip K. Dick world. This is how politically, socially, economically, there's so much going on every single moment. If you go and stick to the old rules, tried and true, they don't work anymore.
Right.
So it's time to start being more comfortable with the ever-changing waters. It's like an old saying by Bruce Lee, be like water, my friend. But it's true. You have to be very
Kind of go with the flow.
Go with the flow.
Right.
And Philip K. Dick, understand that you cannot stop technology. And it's going to just get crazier. It's going to be more and more technological. Everything from virtual reality, which, by the way, we have a big installation on.
Cool.
All the way to time travel.
Nice.
So we're trying to cover. For instance, our virtual reality program is not just sci-fi, but it's actually some of these programs explore what does it mean to be on the edge of death. Okay. That is, this is narrated by Rutger Hauer from Blade Runner. It's just an old man who's just trying to look what lies beyond. Mm-hmm. So it deals with
also in 2001, towards the end, there's
exactly 2001
mortality.
Yeah, and virtual reality is it's a simulation, and it could help us deal with everything from learning how to, drive, or how to ski, become better surgeons,
right,
all the way to just picking up languages. There's a film that I very much again, this is a sci-fi film, The Lawnmower Man. Did you ever see that?
I think I saw that 1992. Yeah, it's on cable.
Lawnmower Man. It was a great film. It's great. It's relatively current.
What's the premise?
The premise is there is a scientist played by Pierce Brosnan who runs this center that accelerates evolution, brain evolution, and he uses a combination of nootropics and virtual reality. So just about when his funding is about to be cut off, he gets this idea of using a young man he meets. I believe the name of the Jeff
Fahey.
Fahey, that's right.
Why do I know that?
Yeah, he who has some challenges, and he becomes his test subject. And lo and behold, it turns out that the technology of this virtual reality technology that Brosnan uses enables him to become smarter.
Okay.
Not just a human, but eventually he becomes sort of a genius. Okay. I believe that we have that technology already. For instance, SEALs are able to learn very quickly languages in a matter of weeks by immersing the soldiers in isolation tanks and feeding them information over a loudspeaker.
Wow.
This stuff is going on. It's pretty wild. Sci-fi. Yeah. It's just like ongoing sci-fi.
It's not even fiction anymore.
It's not fiction anymore. It's so instead of just saying, well, let's make sci-fi even more outlandish, let's look at how sci-fi can impacts our lives. Okay. So we have shorts that deal with that. Deal with a short that will help you with your dating life, or one that will deal with that defines culture and family for you. So I think people will find just about a little bit of everything there. And this, if you're going for that classic sci-fi, you'll definitely get it there. Don't worry. We got our time travel. We got our space explorations. We got our monsters. We got that. And if you're looking for a sci-fi that is closer to home, like what's going to be like 5 or 10 years from now,
right,
you can also see a lot of that.
Nice. Well, Dan, tell everyone where they can attend the festival, one of the dates.
Okay, so the festival dates are February 23rd through the 25th. It's Friday through Sunday. That's less than 2 weeks from now. There are 2 locations. The main location is Village East Cinema. That's located at 189 2nd Avenue, New York, 10003. That's on the cross of 2nd Avenue and 12th Street. We'll be running shows basically nonstop from 7 p.m. all the way to Sunday. We're expecting over 8 stars coming in. Everybody from Arman Asante, like Judge Dredd, Michael Ironside from Scanners. We're gonna have Chuck Zito, Tom Sizemore. We're gonna have a lot of actors, and also we're gonna have some documentaries as well. So if you're in Queens and want to stay in that area, we'll have 2 shows. Friday night we're gonna have the between 6:30 and 8:30. We have the I believe it's the New York premiere of Abella. The character, by the way, is very much a Philip K. Dick character who's lost his sister and is trying to bring her back. She's been gone for 30 years, dead for 30 years. He's trying to bring her back. Wow. He's obsessed with his sister, which very much like Philip K. Dick was. So That's on Friday night.
Okay.
It's Abella at the Museum of the Moving Image.
Awesome place, guys.
And that's on Saturday, the same thing, 6:30 to 8:30, Museum of the Moving Image. You can buy the tickets online at the festival.
And yeah, just go on, just Google Philip K. Dick Science Fiction Film Festival.
Right. It's the Philip K. Dick Film Festival. It's a big word.
One L in Philip.
One L. That's right. If there's anything you take out from this, it's just one L. Philip K. Dick Film Festival.
Well, Dan, I want to thank you so much for your time today. This was amazing, and I look forward to the film festival.
Thanks, Randy, and it was good talking to you.
Yeah, it was great. So we'll have a short break, but when we return from that break, we're going to have our film review segment, Everyone's a Critic. Stay tuned.
Great.
Cool.
Excellent.
All right.
Great. That was fun.
You got the wheels cranking. Everything.
Is there one more go in the fast life? I don't know. Take me home. I don't care what the people may say. I'm gonna love you. Nothing in the world gonna stand in my way. 'Cause I'm gonna love you. Now you may think that I'm crazy. Maybe I act like a fool. Hey, pretty baby, I'm gonna love you. All those boys are gonna turn on the charm, but I'm gonna get you. Everything you need is waiting right in these arms, and I'm gonna catch you. You will never be lonely. Believe what I say, yes, it's true. Hey, little darling, I'm gonna love you. I'll make you happy, baby, wait and see. No one's gonna love you quite as good as me. Kissing and a hugging, honey, all the time. I'll be yours and baby, you'll be mine. I'll make you happy, baby, wait and see. No one's gonna love you quite as good as me. Kissing and a hugging, honey, all the time. I'll be yours and baby, you'll be mine. Everybody's saying it won't last too long, but I'm gonna love you. It'll be heaven just proving them wrong, 'cause I'm gonna love you. The door to the future is open. All you got to do is step through. Hey, pretty baby, guess what? Listen, little darling, and look what you got. Hey, pretty baby, I'm gonna love you. Right here, right now, baby. Come on, honey. I'm gonna love you.
Hey guys, we're back. This is Under the Radar. I'm your host, Randy Younger. And now we have our film review segment, Everyone's a Critic. And I want to welcome Kevin Mosquera. Hello.
Critic for this Sunday.
Yes. And Dan Quenqua. Hello. Welcome back.
Hello.
So this is your fifth appearance, your fourth or fifth appearance.
One or the other.
One. It's all blending
We're
together.
not counting anymore, Randy.
No. You're just here.
Yeah.
And it's great. I love the fact that you're here. This is
You
great.
just find us in the halls. And you're like, hey, you want to come back in? Well, sure. We just
Just
clean the floors
loitering.
here on Sundays. We're just,
Well, that's good.
You're welcome.
So, how's everything going, guys?
No complaints.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel?
I can't complain.
Okay.
Can't complain.
Good.
I just saw you do a really cool interview. That was nice. That was great.
Dan Abella, he was a great guest.
Yeah,
I
man.
was very lucky to have
Yeah.
him.
Now
I
we're
really
here.
had to try not to interject and be like, yeah, human condition, right? It's so cool. I had to just be like, no, I'm just gonna sit on the side here, off screen.
I know, you guys are both big sci-fi
Yeah.
geeks. It's
Technology, right?
Yeah, totally geeked out on that.
great. So we got a couple movies to talk about, one of which, Looking Glass, Nicolas Cage, Robin Tunney. It's
Not Alice in Wonderland.
Unfortunately not, but it's got
Damn
Nick
it, I
Cage.
watched the wrong one.
Basically, it's a couple that buys a motel in a desert, and all this weird, crazy stuff happens, including voyeurism, and how that leads to some really violent encounters. So, yeah, I mean, Kevin, what do you think?
Well, first off, yeah, as somebody who's done some road trips, you can find a lot of creepy motels off the side of the highway, so that was realistic.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, you start the movie off, you kind of think it's going to go the Hitchcock route. I think we kind of talked about, where, but really ends up being this just creepy thriller. Couple who has been through some trauma, loss of a child, some infidelity was there, drug use, decides to try and have a new start with this motel, and things are going awry with it. You hear Nicolas Cage, low budget movie. I'll be honest, my first assumption is it's a cash grab, so I'm hoping to see full Cage.
Yeah, no.
This was a very subdued Nicolas Cage.
Very subdued. Painfully subdued.
Painfully subdued. I will say, for those in the sci-fi realm, because it's in there, we do have a secondary character of a police officer, Mark Lucas. Of, I would say, Buffy fame.
Buffy, yeah, he's the soldier who has a love interest.
Soldier boyfriend, yes. So
Wow.
now I picked up on that, geeked out a little bit, but no need for spoilers, but I will say, interesting film. My two biggest takeaways are I don't get full Cage. Yeah. And second is I'm not big on observing this, but I saw some plot holes that kind of bothered me.
Okay. Now, Dan, Nicolas Cage, what are your thoughts on this acting phenomenon? And that says it.
I mean, poor Nicolas Cage. He's a great actor, and it just, it is a cash grab, right? I mean, in the end, what do you guys think?
Yeah.
He needs money. He's so in debt.
Really, it's just a paycheck at this point.
All his alligators and all the weird.
Does he get the
things
same amount of
buys.
money? Like, I know Snake Eyes, 1998. That was like his first huge. I think it was $20 million back then.
Yeah, no, he don't get.
He doesn't get that much now. Not for this.
This guy does like 3 movies a year, now, which is nuts for a guy at his caliber.
Yeah.
And you look back at some of his older stuff, and you're like, man, this guy can act.
He has 92 acting credits on IMDb,
And still broke.
and he's not that old. He's like 54.
It's sad, and some of the stuff that he's done, like during this cash grab trend that he's had, have been really good. Like what was that one movie, The Bad Lieutenant? I freaking love.
Was
that
that a
movie.
sequel to the Harvey Keitel movie?
I don't know, but
Well,
it's amazing.
Is it? I've heard.
Great.
Yeah, I think you've told me that.
He's a crooked cop.
Yeah.
And he's dealing with addiction, and it takes place in his favorite town, which is New Orleans.
Cool.
And it's right after the storm, and it's just. He just does an amazing job, and you're like, oh man, it sucks that he's broke and he's just doing this for money. Because it's like this guy, if he could just focus on his craft and do movies like that all the time, he'd be still up there.
I miss Crazy Cage from the 90s.
Of course, everyone does.
And early 2000s, I think Matchstick Men was one of his last forays.
Oh, for sure. And
Craziness.
that's when he went broke.
Yeah.
When he went broke. And
It's sad.
Yeah. It's sad to see that this is where he's at, some of these kind of really low budget movies, some of these movies that go direct to iTunes.
But I've heard good things about his last movie, Mom and Dad. I haven't seen it, but apparently he goes pretty crazy in that.
Oh yeah,
too.
he goes full on. In that,
Yeah, something about killing his kids.
Yeah,
like,
it's all about it's about these parents want to kill their kids.
Why is there?
Yeah,
like
if he doesn't
like
go
a
full
super
cage,
virus that, like,
like a zombie type of thing. Weird.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But in this movie, like I know it's based off of some guy that actually had this was like a thing. Like people had like voyeur hotels where they would like have these catwalks,
crawl spaces,
and so I feel like writing wise, I feel like somebody like saw the same documentary I watched and was like, this would be a great movie.
Yeah.
And then they wrote a script and it landed on someone's desk, and Nicolas Cage was like, I need money, and they were like, this works. Let's do this.
This could have been,
all right,
This could have been any other actor.
Exactly. He just kind of like just slides in, and they're like, "Oh, we got Nick Cage, so let's see what happens." And so in that respect, it's like that's a bummer. I mean, I don't know. What do you think as far as a radar?
It's on the radar, but very low.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought that the relationship between him and Robin Tunney, the wife, was pretty good.
Well, I actually liked Tunney on this. She looked like a scarred woman, which was her role, and I believed every word
drug use,
about it.
depression, But I think they had really good chemistry. I don't think I've seen that in.
Do you think you felt for the characters?
Not
or was
really.
It kind of forced.
They weren't sympathetic at all, really.
Yeah.
I didn't really care about what was going to happen to them.
Yeah.
They all came with baggage. Like they all had drama,
and that works sometimes. Sometimes you can see a movie and that it'll have that and it makes you feel for the characters if they put it on correctly. But. If it feels forced, it's like...
the major character was the motel. Okay. That's really was. All the creepy stuff happened.
What's the motel called?
I couldn't even tell you the name. That's probably messed up.
Something Bay... Not Bay Ridge.
You apparently... No, that's Brooklyn.
I don't know. It had a weird title.
Something Bay in the middle of a desert. Actually, I could see that being the name of a hotel.
But back to Nick Cage, because I could talk about him forever. Dan, do you have top 3... favorite Nick Cage performances?
My first thought is The Rock, only because I was a kid when that came out, and I snuck in and saw it a million times at my local theater, so I have some fond memories.
I had the VHS. I recorded it off TV, and it was edited though. But
the thing, the green things, and the sticking the thing in his
the
chest,
gas,
and all that stuff.
The music,
it's just so intense.
Yeah. So good.
Leaving Las Vegas.
Oh my god, he won the Oscar for that.
And I'd say Bad Lieutenant. That was I saw that and I was just like, that was amazing. That was a great job.
Cool.
So, because like I said, he can be he can be full on Nick Cage. But when I always really appreciate when I can watch a movie with him, and I don't think about Nick Cage, I think about the actor or the character that he's playing in that. And I'm telling you, in those films, you get caught in the character as much as you get caught up in Nick Cage. So.
Yeah, he's really different in every movie.
Yeah, he can be.
Except for National Treasure 2, which is...
exactly. Yeah.
He's not a fan.
Yeah.
Oh, actually.
Kevin?
Yeah, believe it or not, National Treasure. The first one would be on there because it reminds me so much of...
I'm going to steal Declaration of Independence.
Listen, you go that ridiculous. It worked.
I'm going to steal
it. Was fun. Yeah. And he did.
He did steal it.
That was totally Nicolas Cage stealing it. I don't even know the character's name in those movies.
Ben Gates.
Oh, yes. No. Nicolas Cage. Nope.
Benjamin Franklin Gates.
Yes, exactly.
No, that was Nicolas Cage. They were like, no, just be yourself and steal the Declaration of Independence.
Yeah.
Okay, I can do that.
I can do that.
Just Harvey Keitel will chase you, so insult it all you want, but yes, that is on my list. Okay. And then I got to go ridiculous Nick Cage, so I'm going Con Air. Put the bunny down. I mean,
put the bunny back in the box.
Oh, okay, excuse me. Yes, but there we go.
Now, why didn't you just put the bunny back in the box?
That's your favorite. Right?
And not to be a bandwagoner, but there's something about The Rock.
The Rock is actually my number one.
Yeah.
It's just a fun, awesome action movie. Well, Steve, Face Off.
Yes, Face Off would be there.
Monster Take.
Nose, eyes, ears, they're all coming off.
I'm Sean Archer.
I'm Castor Troy. Now, this is what I wanted to do all week.
Yeah.
That's why you guys deal with that one.
Yeah. No, of course.
Give us some credit, Steve.
So about technology and how it ruins our lives.
Right?
Next week, movie charades. That's what we got to do.
I love it. That's awesome.
The Rock.
And also, Actually, this is sort of like a number 4 for me. I guess it's Trapped in Paradise.
Okay.
You've seen it.
I haven't seen that one. Which one's that? It sounds familiar.
It's him, Dana Carvey, and John Lovitz. They play brothers who are basically they're like all criminals. 2 of which have gotten out of prison. Nicolas Cage's gone straight, and they commit a crime. They go to this small Midwestern town.
Why haven't I seen this?
It's
so amazing.
1994. It's such a great comedy.
What's it called?
Trapped in Paradise.
Okay, whatever anyone's doing right now, stop.
Trapped in Paradise.
Well, after the show.
After the show.
Yes.
All right. After the show. Trapped in
DVD
Paradise.
screening. Yeah, we got the TV. So
I'm gonna watch it while I'm driving to work tomorrow.
Oh, it's so good.
I recommend not doing
that.
that.
I don't care.
I'm sure there's some safety issues
to
watch that.
I love it. So Nick Cage, he's not.
I preferred bad Nick Cage. I actually like Gone in 60 Seconds.
Oh my
too.
god, yes.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
I'll be the first to say.
Everybody loves that.
Anytime it's on TNT, I'm done for 2 hours.
Any collaboration between him and Jerry Bruckheimer is pretty much gold. The Rock, Con Air, Gone in 60 Seconds, National Treasure 1 and 2. Well,
1.
Yeah. But
2. God.
Gone in 60 Seconds, very quotable. I just stole 50 cars for you. I'm a little tired. I'm a little wired, and I think I deserve a little appreciation. Okay. Yeah. Let's try. Yeah, that's awesome. All right, guys. Moving on.
Okay.
Got that out of our system.
You got the Nick out?
I think I did. I got most of it out. Okay. Most of it.
We released the cage.
Now we got to put the bunny back.
Yes.
Okay.
More next week. All right, guys. So we're going to shift gears a little bit. Gone in 60 seconds. Okay.
Hey.
We call that a
How many Nick
segue
Cage
into
references
business.
can we
I
get?
don't know. Never ending.
Okay.
So we're going to now talk about the Cloverfield franchise.
I was moonstruck by these movies.
I like that.
Hey-o. Dan, what did you think? You've seen all 3.
Yes.
What did you think as a whole? And then we'll go into each one individually. What did you think?
I'm not a fan.
Really?
Really, I'm truly not a fan. I feel like the theme this week is cash grabbing. I feel like, I felt that with Cloverfield, the first one, and the last 2. And even what I read about Paradox and what I already knew about Cloverfield Lane, is that both films were written as other films. They were written as the sequel was written as this thriller bunker movie, and the third movie, the one that the Netflix one, was written as a God particle film, a movie about God particle, kind of like Event Horizon kind of film.
Oh, good.
Where
Sam Neill,
same kind of concept where they start messing around with the God particle and weird things happen.
Right, alternate dimensions. And
this Bad Robot got their hands on both of these scripts, and they said, hey, you know what? We should turn these into Cloverfield movies.
Right.
And so they took it, and then they went to the writers, and they were like, yeah, all right, I guess. That's not what we're planning on doing. And then they throw a bunch of aliens at the end. In both films in a lot of ways.
Spoiler.
Yeah. Spoiler. If you didn't know that Cloverfield's about aliens.
Yeah, the third one really has no connection,
exactly.
really. Except here and there.
Exactly. And so, that being said, I feel like it's it's just I feel like it's J.J. Abrams just messing around with things, trying to see if he can get away with.
He's teasing
taking scripts and tying them into a franchise and just seeing if it works. And if
right, it works and it doesn't work.
And that's the thing for me. I feel like I think they hit it out of the park with the sequel. I think
great movie.
I think it definitely opened the door in that other people are hey, doing cross genre with science fiction is a great thing.
But 10 Cloverfield Lane, in my opinion, I think it could have been a standalone film, just its own thing. It didn't need to be connected.
Exactly,
to
it was written as that, and so because they tied that in at the end, now it's a Cloverfield movie.
Right.
But even the new, so for example, they have that new Mutants movie coming out. I think in the fall, which is a horror film.
Yes.
Which is about mutants that are living in a hospital, and they think that it's that they pitch it more like it's haunted, but it's actually their powers. And so I think again we're doing that's a cross genre where we're dealing with horror and science fiction, but with mutants, which has never really happened. So I think a movie like Cloverfield Lane, the sequel,
Right.
opened the door for things like that. Like, let's do a bunker thriller,
Right.
you know, where
And it's a third-person view
where
as opposed to
we're
the first.
watching, and where we're watching these people, you know, trying to deal with the monsters inside the bunker, you know, as in themselves.
Has kind of a
you know.
Lost feeling.
Of course, yeah.
J.J.
And but then it's like, but the real problem is what's above,
Right.
you know, and she realizes that at the end, and et cetera, et cetera. But
I think the real turmoil, the real conflict was in the bunker. Obviously.
of course,
Yeah.
of course, and that's what makes it so interesting is that it's this conflict in a bunker in a sci-fi universe, which is just kind of, I think that's great that at least they, you know, that they open the door for that kind of filming.
I know they like these cross genres. I don't know how I feel about them.
Yeah.
I'm thinking they're gonna do like a Ben Stiller, Will Ferrell type of Cloverfield eventually.
You never know. It's very possible. It's
Fits in
very
the universe,
possible.
yeah.
You know?
Right.
Yeah, they could do a romance. You know, who knows?
Right.
You know what I mean?
With the monster
Yeah,
and
who knows?
Owen Wilson.
Who knows? Whenever J.J. Abrams gets on his desk, he might be like, let's do it.
Yeah,
We can tie it in somehow.
You tell JJ no.
Exactly.
he's the new
Disney can.
Let's put monsters in the chocolate. Let's see what happens.
Kev, what do you think of what do you think of the whole franchise, by the way?
Yeah, 2 out of 3. I'll go with really hit it out of the park. I mean, honestly, in movie industry as a whole, you're looking at universes. This is a nice way of having a universe doing the cross genre without keeping it to it. First one was a great Godzilla type movie.
Yep.
Godzilla meets the Blair Witch Project.
There you go. Even so, yeah, single cam. It was so interesting. It was so new. Loved it. I own it.
Yeah.
For what it's worth. You got Cloverfield Lane. This one was, like I said, bunker movie. Honestly, I'll be the first to say Goodman stole the show for that.
Oh,
he
he's
made
great.
that movie. And yeah, the little time at the end worked well. You could tell they're looking for a bigger universe, though, because there's already a Cloverfield movie coming in October.
Right.
And for me, this one was, though they're trying to expand the universe, making it the sci-fi God Particle type movie, because that's the fake one they use.
Yeah.
To me, it's more of a setup to expand the universe even more. The good thing about the first 2 movies was you knew something was going down. There were so many questions, but you still had a solid story to tell. This third one was like, let's see how many questions we can have people ask at the end of it. We'll get to the story later. Just because it was... If this is not a sub to whatever that 4th movie is, then it was a complete waste as far as I'm concerned.
I was disappointed as well. It was just a mess. It was just Star Trek.
Yeah.
It was just a bad Star Trek. I mean, you had great actors.
And JJ can do Star Trek. We know that. We've seen it.
And Star Wars. I mean, the man does everything.
He can do Star Trek.
Yes, he can.
You know, I would say also with the first 2, I think not to be a dick about it, but I think the marketing is what really pushed those movies to their success. I mean,
The first Cloverfield.
the trailer for Cloverfield was like
Yeah.
blew people's minds. Like no one was expecting that to be what that was when you go see that trailer, and it got people in the theaters to go see it. And you could say the same thing about 10 Cloverfield Lane. You know, like I watched that trailer and I was like, I'm seeing this movie. You know, and like you said, John Goodman stole the film.
It's great
by far. I don't think that film would be good if anyone else. In my opinion, like he stole the role.
Yeah,
He
no
did,
one else could have.
No one else could have done what he did and made the film
Except Nicolas
as
Cage.
good.
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, well, maybe Nick Cage. Nick Cage. If you gain like 50 pounds, yeah, he could definitely do it. Oh, for sure.
Being stuck in a bunker with Nick Cage.
For
That's
sure.
ooh.
Yeah, that could be really bad.
I would love it.
But Goodman did great.
No.
He did an amazing job in it. You know.
It was great.
Yeah.
It was one of his best performances. I can't think of another Goodman performance other than maybe the
He
Flintstones.
did the villain. He did the villain so good.
King Ralph.
Yeah.
The babe.
But then then this third one, it was just like it was clearly that they were like, well, we're not going to make any money, so let's sell it to Netflix and see what happens.
Is the next one going to be Netflix too?
That one I'm not actually sure about.
I have a feeling
haven't
it
read
might.
Well, it was a battle between Netflix and actually a wide release for this one. Netflix just paid more money for it, but that's a whole business strategy.
Netflix is like its own studio now. Like they did Bright
that's
with
done
Will
by
Smith.
design.
Yeah, they're doing well.
Yeah, Bright was the first one, and then this was. They were hoping this would be as popular as Bright, but people are slamming.
Well, no, this is a little
movie.
bit better than Bright.
Well, people slam Bright
you
too.
thought you didn't think Bright was?
I liked it. I just didn't love it. I mean,
loved it.
Yeah, no,
I
it was
like
cool.
I like the fact
Again, another cross genre though, right?
Very much so.
Another example of a cross genre.
kind of like a cop thriller set in Mordor.
Exactly.
It's pretty cool.
So,
But overall, the movie was not great. I think it was average at best. You know.
okay.
Well, here's the thing. we all saw the movie. Can you name any of the characters in the movie? I couldn't even tell.
From Bright or Paradox?
For Paradox. Like, I could care less about any of them. I couldn't tell you the name of any character. Right
Schmidt. The German physicist, played by Daniel Bruhl. He's a good actor, by the way.
I didn't like him in the Avengers.
Name again? I always forget his
Chris
name.
O'Dowd.
Oh, I love him.
From Bridesmaids.
Yeah,
he's funny.
He's a great actor.
It's like an Irish Will Ferrell.
Yeah. You ever see Calvary with him? He's in that. He did drama in that.
No.
Isn't Will Ferrell Irish?
More Irish. Will Ferrell.
I didn't realize we're judging Will Ferrell's Irishness.
How did this happen? No. Wait, Calvary, Dan?
Yeah.
What is that?
It's a movie about a guy who's a priest and he's like a sub character in it.
Oh, it sounds
But
familiar.
it's like a dark comedy and then ends up being like a drama. It's very good.
Okay.
I saw it in theaters. I don't know why, but I did. It was great. And he's done a few other stuff too. He was in the Armstrong movie, the doping. And he did drama in that as well.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So he's done comedy, he's done drama.
He's more known for
He was
comedy.
definitely comic relief in this film.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I guess we found the worms.
No, of course.
And of course, his name I could never pronounce. He played Martin Luther King Jr. David Oyelowo.
Yeah.
He was great too as the
He was actually pretty decent.
And
The main
storyline was
character,
so pushed,
the main character, the female lead. What was her?
She looks like Kerry Washington,
Yeah.
British girl.
That wasn't?
It wasn't. No,
British girl.
Okay.
Yeah.
that was the lesser Kerry Washington.
Yeah.
Also a decent actress. I don't know her name though.
Yeah.
She's got a weird name. Actually, I have my computer in front of me.
Yeah, you can pull it up. Come on, man.
Hold on, I have notes.
While he's doing that, as a side note, I love the fact that Lance Armstrong, they had the doping thing. Anybody want to rewatch Dodgeball? The irony of that little speech that he gives to Vince Vaughn in Dodgeball.
What?
Oh, so perfect.
Wait. Refresh the memories.
Vince Vaughn in Dodgeball. He wants to quit the team. He's there in the airport about to leave, and who's there to inspire him to come back and do the right thing by sportsmanship and all that? Lance Armstrong.
That's funny. That was right before it too.
Yeah, I mean, I just the irony. Yeah,
that was in 2004. Yep.
Yeah.
The irony of all that is beautiful.
That's good.
Thank you, Dodgeball.
Nice reference. By the way, the star of was she's got a weird name. Gugu Mbatha Raw.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
G-U-G-U.
You know what? She just, she didn't, the whole thing with the kids and that died in the fire and I just didn't her backstory was just too pushed,
right?
Too forced,
over melodramatic.
Yeah, way too melodramatic. She was like a passive character in a lot of ways, just letting things happen.
And
to her,
selfish.
Yeah, she never really took a strong enough lead. I felt as far as acting, as far as the writing of the character goes.
She was your standard heroine.
I don't know. She didn't do enough. She didn't do enough for me. She could have been bolder.
I blame the writing, I guess.
Yeah, I would definitely. Again, I would blame the writing in that some of it I feel like the idea Cloverfield paradox, right? So anything can happen. Your hand can get stuck in the wall, and it can start writing messages when it's roaming around on the ground. And it's like. That's as far as you can go, as far as infinite possibilities. Is you know what I mean? Like
a cousin in hand.
Yeah, and it could have. It was definitely almost as if they wanted to make it like a horror kind of thing. Yeah. But the lighting was off. I felt.
I like the.
If you were gonna do
the setting.
The production was nice, but I feel like the lighting of it. If you're going to make it more of a horror thriller, make it feel that way. And I felt like it wasn't enough. It just didn't feel dark enough. It didn't feel scary enough.
They kind of referenced Alien a little bit. With the corridors.
Yeah, but again, it wasn't it didn't have that same
impact.
Super creepy vibe going on. So it's it was kind of like they didn't know how to, what they wanted to be as far as
when you watch it, it just looks like a big budget production. There's there's no soul to it.
Exactly.
Well, they spoke of tension and risk and all that, but. If you watched it, you didn't feel it.
No,
they would just talk about it. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
I go back to the writing because the previous film, 10 Cloverfield Lane, was written by Damien Chazelle among two other people. Damien Chazelle actually wrote La La Land and Whiplash.
Wow.
And these are three so different movies.
Yeah.
So it's very.
But they're excellent.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
They're ballparks. Yeah, they're right out.
Give that man a raise.
Yeah, man.
I guess they didn't have enough money to get him for the third film, unfortunately.
Well, like I said, I think they bought. They're just buying these. They bought these things and. They're, Bad Robot's just let's turn it into a Cloverfield film,
It's kind of, they lost me with
Imagine if Star Wars did that, they just started picking up, like
Piecing together a previous.
Just put it in, like, make it a Star Wars movie.
Well,
Just
that's what The
slap
Force
it in.
Awakens was to me. It felt like the previous films.
Okay.
I was
Well,
not
yeah, they
impressed.
stole from themselves.
Yeah.
basically.
Well, yeah.
Self-plagiarism.
They all do that.
Yeah.
Even National Treasure does that.
Oh no!
You leave Nick Cage out of this, okay?
We'll
Those
steal
are-
it.
He stole the Declaration of Independence, and then he was looking to discover an American treasure
Yeah.
hidden in Mount Rushmore.
Of course.
2 different movies, okay? So
No, not stealing. No, those concepts are very different, right?
Yeah, very different, very different.
All right, good.
And it all goes back to Nick Cage.
Now, if Nick Cage was in there, whew,
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Oh, in Paradox?
yeah.
As the commander, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great.
That would be great.
I would totally be down with that. And he went like crazy. If he was the German guy, he went crazy. That'd be great. And he had worms coming out of his head. Oh my god!
Why can't we make that a movie?
All right, let's do it.
Let's do it right now. I got the laptop. Let's do
Call him. He needs the money. We'll give him $50.
Yeah, I'll do
JJ,
it.
number 4. We need Cage.
Okay.
Cage
yeah.
starts playing one of the aliens at the end.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. Yeah.
I like that too. So the fourth one, do we know much about the story or?
They always keep that under wraps.
Right.
I mean, to your point, that's their marketing. We're going to give you a mystery till the bitter end. This one, nobody knew was going to come out, and it was a Super Bowl ad.
And I just think that it's just not gonna. People. It's not. There's no need for it. People are like, okay, that's cool, I guess.
Yeah.
How do you top the sequel, though? You can't.
It's so
It's gotta
good.
be done. It's gotta be done.
It's tight. It's well executed. It's just a great thriller.
They just gotta kill it. They just have to
They gotta sever it.
put it in the closet and just do something else. That's what I say.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
So the future of sci-fi thrillers, you think it's looking good or looking bad, Kev?
Well, I mean, Fortunately or unfortunately, I think most sci-fi right now is superhero movies. We got some great movies about to come out. And Black Panther's getting great reviews. Infinity War is hyped up, but fatigue's around the corner. So you want to talk unique sci-fi? I can't think of anything on the slate that's not a superhero movie that's really exciting.
Pacific Rim is another one that's. It's all
As far as thrillers though, you're saying?
I mean, I guess we can veer off into sci-fi.
Yeah.
I did just interview this gentleman
Yeah.
who's well versed.
Philip K. Dick 1L.
It's true. Yeah. Basically, people just want to see science fiction superhero movies, and they don't care.
Escapism, man. It's all about escapism
Well, we talked
today.
about even Blade Runner didn't do so hot in
that's true.
in the box office.
Yeah.
But it got good reviews.
I actually wasn't a huge fan. It kind of put me to
The
sleep.
new one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just didn't feel that inspired. It just felt
Yeah.
like, I don't know.
You go where the money is right now. I would
Yeah.
argue it's not there.
Yeah.
Marvel.
I mean, the way I feel about sci-fi thrillers, like I said, the cross genre is real. It's happening, and I think we're going to see more of that kind of stuff. I think, like your guest said before, I think we're going to see more and more psychological stuff. Like this, like the exploration in the mind and of science fiction, that kind of stuff.
What was that indie that did
More like man versus man kind of thing, or
Yes.
man versus self,
Ooh.
but through science fiction.
Okay.
I was saying,
I
was
think
that
we'll see more of that
indie
kind of
one?
stuff.
I want to say it was like, was it Joaquin, where he basically fell in love with like his version of Siri?
Her, you mean? Her?
There's a
Yeah.
good example of
That was
one
a
that
good
got
one.
great reviews. It was indie, but it like
That
got
was a good-
popular.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now imagine you made that into a thriller.
that
How cool would that be?
would be good.
You know what I mean? Where she like starts getting feelings against you.
They
Did you-
did-
Did you break up?
They
with her?
did that in the 80s.
Yeah.
It was Christy Swanson. She plays an android who
Okay.
basically goes crazy,
Yeah.
but she has the exterior of this beautiful woman,
Yeah.
and she just starts killing people.
But imagine if that happened with like Siri, and she's like starts controlling your car, and she starts like the worst like ex-girlfriend ever kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like that would be a great film.
Wasn't it like a Ex Machina? Wasn't that kind of around that?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. You
Oh.
could say that. Yeah.
That's the second time today I've heard that movie referenced,
Yeah.
and I think
Yeah.
I need to see that.
So-
I think that's on Netflix.
Is it?
Yeah. So
Cool.
we'll see more of that. I think we're gonna see more of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, man versus self, man versus
Man
machine.
versus machine. Yeah, that kind of thing.
We got T2, which was one of the best man versus machine
Yeah.
movies I've
But
ever
There's
we'll
a
be seeing it
franchise.
more. I think we'll be seeing it more in a broader sense of technology, more closer to reality,
Yeah.
opposed to like androids and robots, and
Right.
like mechanical gun hands and whatever. Like it'll be more like embedded into society.
Should have had you on the couch with that guy.
Yeah, I could talk forever with him.
That's awesome. Maybe next time.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So we got like a few minutes left.
Okay.
5 minutes to be exact.
Okay.
So Valentine's Day is coming up. Just want to talk about your favorite romantic comedy / dramas. Like, what are some of your favorite love stories, Mr. Mosquera?
Well, let's see. I gotta go with, and mock me all you want. Like I said, I like cheesy movies when it comes to that, but still somewhat realistic. Three off the top of my head. 2 are Ryan Reynolds movies. Definitely Maybe. That's a bit of a tearjerker.
Well, that's what he has to support his daughter. Like, he's raising his daughter.
He is telling his daughter 3 different love stories, and she has to figure out which is the one that was her mother. And actually, there's a realistic thing to it that you can have multiple loves in your life.
He's making her guess, like a game.
If you actually look, if I give you the theme of the movie, it sounds horrible. The whole idea, if just take it at face value, it's like a guy going through 3 different love stories in his life, and then finding the right person, maybe going back and realizing who really was best for him. There's some realistic traits to that. On the flip side, dorky, cheesy fun of his, Just Friends.
Good one.
Real fat guy,
I'm a fan.
not too, was stuck in the friend zone,
right?
Loses some weight, comes back, tries to get back as a girl.
Amy Smart, right?
Amy Smart. Nice fun movie.
That's a fun movie.
A go-to of mine. Actually, watched many times.
I know you talk about that a lot.
It was a go-to in college back in the day.
Nice.
Like, hey, we should watch this movie. Decent success, right? And then I would say the last one is which is romantic in nature but very realistic and doesn't always have the most positive ending, was 500 Days of Summer.
Oh, good one.
The moment I watched that, I was like, wow.
I like that.
That one hit it.
Yeah, when I was talking to people about my list about what I should do for this, they were like, that one came up the most.
Yeah.
They were like, 500 Days of Summer. And I'm like, well, all right, I guess, whatever.
Now, I remember it came out like 2009, 10. It was like very bittersweet, right? Kind of like raw and real.
Yeah.
It ends with a heartbreak.
Yeah.
You end up feeling positive about the future, but
right.
he was so into her, and then just sometimes it doesn't work, and it essentially looked like she flaked out on him, which can really happen in real life.
It's, Zoe Deschanel.
Yeah, she was great in it.
Great, Mr. Quenqua.
My 3.
Your 3.
All right. I'll be quick. So like I thought like movies that like are great. There's a lot of really great like romance movies. So if I were to pick 3 movies that are like, I meet a girl and I'm like, all right, this is what we got to see. We got to see this. We got to see this. We got to see that. So first movie right away, Joe versus the Volcano.
Yes.
Oh God.
Love that film.
Love you.
Love
for
that
saying
film.
that.
Love that film.
Yes.
You know, it's all about just life and fun and being happy and like
Volcanoes.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
And
it's
luggage.
a comedy. But really, the moral of the story is
Awesome.
just to be in awe of the world and how amazing it is. And it's funny and it's great and it's just super light.
And it's the first collaboration between Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Next, they did Sleepless in Seattle 3 years later, and then 5 years after that was You've Got Mail.
Yeah. So if you're gonna watch any of those Tom Hanks, girls movies, that's the one
That's
to
the
watch.
one.
That's the original.
And one of the greatest scenes of a movie involving luggage you'll ever see.
Of course, it's great. It's great. So that's right on the top of the list. That's like the first movie. Like, what do you want to know? Well, let's watch Joe versus Volcano. Boom.
Awesome. Remember we watched that at your place once and everyone like fell asleep?
Yeah, but we stayed up. we loved it. That was our date. So Joe versus the Volcano. And then another 2 that are like pretty, I guess like to me, like I personally really like, is, you might be like, what are you talking about? As Good as It Gets.
Nice.
Oh man, I love that film.
It's an unlikely romance.
And it's definitely a romance film. And again, I like broken characters. I'm like weird. I really like to see these broken people and see how they deal with their conditions and then, find love. I think that's pretty cool. So again, that's one of my favorite films. I mean, Jack Nicholson is just amazing.
It's great.
And it's one of his best films, I think.
Won the Oscar for that.
Super funny.
Yeah.
Helen Hunt, right, is another amazing actress.
Greg Kinnear.
Yeah, Greg Kinnear. They all do beautiful. That film is just acted to the T.
Yeah.
It's just great.
I didn't expect you to say that.
Yeah, I love that film. Oh yeah, by far. I love that film, and again, if it's like it's a date thing, it's like that's a movie I want to share with somebody because I think that movie is, hands down one of my favorite. And then the third one I would say is Punch Drunk Love. Again, same kind of thing where it's like we're dealing with broken people, dealing with their conditions, and finding love because world's a screwed up place, and these people have a lot of issues, but they still find love, and I think that's a really cool message to portray in a film.
It's also the first like dramatic turn from Adam Sandler.
Again, another like you see, it's like I think it's Adam Sandler's best movie by far. Other people I know that might be a little like whatever. I know his comedies are great, But you know what? I think that movie, that was his baby, and you could see it. Like, he put his heart like way into that film, and he did a great job. And I would say, if I were to pick 3, because there's so many out there, those are like top of the list.
That's awesome, guys. I love that. Those lists are great. Really. Mine are kind of generic, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I'll go
Womp womp.
3-1. 3, it's kind of a love story that goes off the rails. It's called Revolutionary Road.
Okay.
It's got Leonardo DiCaprio and Winslet.
Super depressing. Go on.
Yeah, very depressing, but it's kind of real.
Yeah, no, it is.
On
it
land.
is. That's true.
And their previous collaboration was in Titanic, which I rewatched a month ago. It's really, it holds up.
No.
Yeah. So that's number 2 for you?
Yeah, I'd say.
Okay.
Maybe that's on par with like You've Got Mail.
The most romantic part about Titanic was the people playing as the ship went down. They were in love with music.
That was beautiful.
But other than God,
it's a beautiful movie overall.
Please.
It is.
Oh, I like that stuff. Though,
it's just a little long. It's just a little long, and
it's a 3.5-hour movie. I'm not.
If you sit through that means you're the one. Though. You know.
And the final one is generic, but it really is a quality film. When Harry Met Sally. Yeah.
I can't argue that.
It's just.
I can't argue.
It's
I
just
believe
damn
Billy
good.
Crystal would get Meg Ryan. Yeah, that.
Yeah.
He's funny. She probably likes a sense
He
of
had
humor.
to be mentioned. He'd come in here and say, "Why didn't you mention my movie?"
Good impression. All right, guys. So unfortunately, I think that wraps it up for now.
Fine.
You know, it's great to have you on again.
Philip K. Dick, 1L.
1L.
And I hope to have you both on again real soon. I'm sure I will. So
We're just cleaning the floors
Just
here.
yeah.
We're always vacuuming.
Just loitering around.
Yeah, make sure you pick up your trash. Too,
Yeah,
all right? It
I
just
will.
makes our life a little
Plastic in the recycle bin at all
Yes,
times. We hate
exactly.
that. No.
Always.
Come on.
I
That's
gotta
why
learn.
we have it, man.
Yeah,
I know.
seriously.
Stop putting your tuna fish in there, man. That's where we keep all the bottles.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
If you like to shut the lights off after the restroom, we appreciate
We
that
do.
too.
It definitely makes life easier.
Very good, very good. All right, guys. So next week we're gonna have on Angelo Mercado and Vincent Ruiz. They're an actor and director, respectively, indies. Also gonna have Zach Shevich, Natalie Shmuel, and Zainab Ali. We'll be reviewing the films Days of Power, The Cured, and Too Cold to Swim. So that'll be next Sunday, 1 o'clock Eastern. And again, I want to thank everyone for being on my show today. This has been amazing, as usual. And I'm Randy Unger. It's been Unger the Radar at Village Connection Radio Vision. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Take care.
It's the place to go when you're feeling blue, and when it seems life's getting the best.